French and Malian forces are racing through the Sahara against practically no resistance from Islamists. The latest victory in France's intervention in Mali to rid the country of fundamentalists came in the town of Tessalit, less than 50 kilometers by attack helicopter from Algeria's border. The latest victory in France's 3-week desert campaign was practically bloodless. Here, a French Air Force cargo plane lands in the sands of the open desert near Tessalit in the dead of night, carrying heavily armed infantry. Moving house to house, French soldiers, escorted by guides from the Malian army, slowly clear the town. Following behind the air assault, French armored columns made their way north through villages and open desert. They were greeted with cheers and smiles, and almost wherever the French have gone, life in Mali, one of Africa's poorest and least developed countries, seems to have returned to normal. The French and their African allies have been ready for a pitched battle, but, for the most part, their campaign in Mali has been more like an off-road drive through some of the most remote but sometimes spectacular desert landscape in Africa. But behind the French, already, signs of resistance to French troops, and perhaps an insurgency, have already appeared. The first suicide bomber struck on Friday in Gao, a town further south that French official spokesman had said had been cleared of Islamic fighters. A second suicide bomber attack was attempted over the weekend. And France's key ally in its offensive, the Malian army, was confronted with a mutiny that left forces cooperating with the French fighting a battle in the capital Bamako with Malian paratroopers, who mutinied not because they are allied with insurgents, but because they are loyal to Mali's previous president. At least one person died in the firefight. Here, Bamako residents accuse both sides' soldiers of firing on civilians. The European Union has acknowledged the weakness of the Malian army, and Brussels is sending trainers, with the first 70 teacher soldiers arriving aboard military jet. The EU training contingent will number some 450 men and stay in Mali for 15 months, with a mission of training 4 battalions of the Malian army, a force of some 2,500 men, in modern tactics and anti-insurgency techniques. But critical for the success of the EU training mission and the Malian government's ability to prevent the outbreak of an Islamist insurgency will be the effectiveness of African troops that will remain in the country after French combat troops have gone. There are currently about 2,500 of them, mostly troops from Chad and Niger. One officer says doing that will be an honor.
As you can see by yourself on the ground, the Chadian soldier is proud to perform this mission. I sincerely tell you, and you can see it, it is a great pride for us to perform this mission, which is exceptional for our country.
In total, some 8,000 allied African troops are scheduled to deploy to Mali once the French go home. The real question is whether Mali's army, which is fighting internally, can, with the assistance of armies like Chad's, enforce the peace over all of Mali, a country that is mostly trackless desert and is twice the size of France.